Jim Nicholson, these proposals today from the European Commission came about because an expert group found imbalances in the supply chain. What's the picture in the UK? What's the situation like for dairy farmers?
Well, we know what the situation was like, and with a very bad price for milk, and almost put an awful lot of producers. Some producers did go out of business, so it was quite a very difficult time. And with through pressure we got intervention in, which to a large extent did save the industry. And then we had the high-level group who made a report to the Commission. The Commission have now brought forward their proposals for implementing. We had the leaked document, which was quite a substantial document, but they have actually cut it way back in the document we got today, which quite frankly we received 60 seconds before the Commissioner spoke. And so I'm sorry we haven't been able to give it a total in-depth evaluation yet. But we will, and then we will actually try to see how best we can provide, because this is for what's going to be the situation in the dairy sector from 2014 to 2020. So it's a 6-year and probably maybe even dairy quotas have been there now for 25 years. So this could be there for another 25 years. So we won't be rushing it. They talk about transparency, they talk about contracts, they talk about all sorts of things, but we've got to go down and see how practical some of these things are, and if it fits within the whole area of the laws within Europe as well.
I mean, you mentioned one of the things that caught my eye there, the written contracts that are being suggested between producers and processors. These would be voluntary, but the member states could make them compulsory. I mean, do you think these could help producers in the UK?
Well, they're no longer mandatory, so it's up to the member state to decide whether to implement them or not. But I think in that report, it's what's not said is the interesting point, and that is, they haven't really done enough to actually encourage more cooperation between producers. There's a lot of big players out there in the processing side, and to a large extent, the producers are in a very weak position compared to them. And it's how we get that balance, and do we need an ombudsperson, at national level? At European level? I believe we need it at national level. I think we need more transparency and clarity in what we're proposing to do. But I am going to be the rapporteur for this, so to some extent at this moment of time I'm sitting back a little bit and saying I want to hear everybody's views, and then I will hopefully cooperate with my other colleagues in the committee and come forward with a report. But I hope we'll come forward with a report that we can make work in all the member states throughout Europe, and that's going to be very difficult, because what suits Greece does not necessarily suit the UK, but we'll do our best to try and get the best deal possible.
I mean, as you say, an early stage at the moment, the Commission leaving it voluntary really on member states as to whether these contracts should be made compulsory. At the moment, would you think that would be a good idea in the UK? Is that something you would like to see the British government do?
I think I want to hear what the British industry says first. I am always very concerned of giving one member state a direct advantage, and we've seen the French, because the French with their cooperatives have an inbuilt advantage here. So they're already out there, and we certainly need grants, I believe, if we're going to go down the cooperative route to form ourselves into cooperatives, if that's the route we decide to go. But what I say is I want to hear what the industry says, I want to hear what the unions say, and I want to hear what the producers would actually like. And one of the difficulties we have, I think, in the United Kingdom in all parts, we have an independent streak in us, and we don't like cooperating, which is totally different from the French position. So we have to look, could we actually build that cooperation? Would it actually work? Would it be effective? And would it actually, at the end of the day, which is the most important thing in all of these things, would it actually provide a good living for the dairy farmer on his farm and make his life better than it is at the moment?
And what do you think about the idea, as you say, of trying to get farmers together collectively to give them more bargaining power? The Commission saying that could only go up to 33% of market share. Yeah. What do you make of that figure?
Well, I think this is where we have got to do an analysis on where the Commission's coming from. The Commissioner has offered me full cooperation, and I want to be going in to talk to his people to find out where the background and where some of this knowledge is coming from. I think the Commissioner, to be fair to him, has probably tried to be open, but I think the Commissioner is trying to be all things to all people at all times, and I think you just can't please everybody, and somewhere along the line you have to make a stand, you have to make a decision, and you've got to hope that decision is the right one, and that's what I will certainly try to do. I just hope this doesn't turn out to be a poison chalice in the mouth of Christmas rather than an advantage.
But your next step really then, it sounds like, is going to be to consult dairy farmers in the industry back in the UK.
Well, the Bureau of Agriculture Botanic has already been in touch with me, so I'll be meeting them early in January, as has the European Dairy Organisation. My office has already been inundated with emails looking for meetings. I will certainly meet as many people as I possibly can. I will listen to what they have to say, but at this stage I've got to find a consensus within the committee. But first of all, next week I'm going to talk to my fellow coordinators on the Agriculture Committee and the shadow rapporteurs to see what they believe, because I want to work very closely with them, because I don't believe this should be a confrontational thing. But the one thing we want out of this is that dairy farmers are going to be as efficient and effective and will have a power base on which to actually sell their milk in the long term.